terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details, subject to change.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Paul George is back in town. The former Clippers star will be in the lineup tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers. The Clippers and Sixers are meeting up tonight at the Intuit Dome. George signed with the Sixers as a free agent in the summer after playing 5 years with the Clippers. The Clippers won't have to worry about Sixers center Joel Embiid. The NBA suspended Embiid for 3 games for shoving a columnist Saturday in the Sixers locker room. Embiid was upset with Marcus Hayes of the Philadelphia Inquirer for a column he wrote about Embiid. The suspension will cost Embiid $1.63 million. The Lakers are at Memphis tonight. Final game of a 5-game road trip. The Lakers are 1-3 on the trip. Dodger star Shohei Ohtani underwent surgery Tuesday to repair a torn labrum muscle in his left shoulder. Ohtani hurt his shoulder sliding into second base in Game 2 of the World Series. The Dodgers said Ohtani will be ready for spring training. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Beloved Entertainment and the Miracle Theater Foundation presents Sweet Spot Live with KBLA's own Angelique Francis, Sunday, November 17th. Angelique is live on stage featuring storytellers from the community, colorful and provocative, for us and by us, celebrating our strength and our fire. Come hang out with us as we walk through our neighborhoods, even down our dark alleys, because just around the corner, there's laughter, misplaced miracles, unspeakable pain, and yes, forgiveness. It's all happening Sunday, November 17th, 4 p.m. at the Miracle Theater in Inglewood, 226 South Market Street. Last year, audiences raved. Best show in decades. An unforgettable night. Groundbreaking. Sweet Spot Live was thought-provoking and enlightening. Standing ovations begging for more. Please, more. It was a great night. So back by popular demand, it's Sweet Spot Live with Angelique Francis. Get your tickets right now at themiracleinglewood.com. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you in the sweet spot. Quincy Jones from his Back on the Block album, Ray Charles and Shaka Khan, I'll Be Good to You. In this hour, our tribute to Quincy Delight Jones. News came on Monday, the day before Election Day, that surrounded by family and loved ones, Quincy Jones had passed on Sunday at his home here in Bel Air. There is never a good time to go, is there? But when Q transitioned on the eve of an historic election, I knew there would not be the usual focus on his death and all that he conquered and accomplished in his amazing life. On Monday, before we got into the politics, we did a brief tribute to my friend Quincy Delight Jones. Best middle name ever, Quincy Delight Jones. And we promised you more today. And so in this hour, you will hear from Q in his own words. In one of our many public conversations over the years, you will also hear from the folk who knew him best and worked with him in the studio on multiple projects over the years. Here now, we commence this hour with Q talking about his favorite hobby.
I'm studying Mandarin now and Arabic, writing and speaking. That's my hobby, you know.
Yeah, learning languages.
18 languages now.
Yeah.
It's fun.
How did
I can't even speak English.
How did you become, and I know a little bit about this because I've traveled with you a few places around the world, how did you become such a citizen of the world?
You know, the truth, it's probably because I never had a mother.
Yeah.
And I made a deal very early. My mother took her away in a straitjacket to 12 languages, Boston University, and they took her away in a straitjacket, you know, and we were 7 years old. And the second mother was like precious, you know.
Oh, like the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Monique, you know.
Yeah.
And so I made a deal with myself that if I didn't have one, I was going to use music as my mother. And who knows, if I had a proper upbringing, I may have been a sad musician. I'll never know.
Yeah. You know what's amazing about this story, Q, is that you didn't, to your point, they take your mother away, your biological mother, they take her away literally in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
Your second mother, as you said, was like the Precious character, or the character Monique plays in Precious. And yet, and I'm not saying this to butter you up, anybody who knows you knows that you are the sweetest, most gentle, the kindest person you could ever meet. I'm trying to figure out how you got all of that when you didn't get that from your mama.
I don't know. You just try to get to the next step because my daddy worked so hard, man. He had 8 kids, and $55 a week, so there was no calling home for no money,
Yeah.
And so he was always in my corner, but he didn't have time to be there because he was working so hard. And you just figure it out. You have to figure it out. So you don't have a childhood, really, because from the time we were born in Chicago, Daddy worked as a building homes, and he was a master carpenter for the Jones Boys, who were the most notorious black gangsters in the history of America.
In Chicago,
And,
yeah.
oh, man, they did not play. They started Policy Racket, the first black businesses, 5 and dime stores. And in fact, I'm going to do a movie on it. I really do, because it's the whole first 10 years of my life was with them. Harriet, his daughter, is one of the sweetest ladies I ever met in my life. When she was 5, she asked me to cut her hair at a birthday party, and I cut all her hair off, and my daddy kicked my booty. He said, "Do you know who her father is?"
You cut the wrong.
Yeah, no, but she is just the most elegant person in the world. We, exchanging stories and everything. It's just life is amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
So how did, taking back to Chicago and Seattle, how did music, to your own phrase, become your mother? How did this relationship get forged?
Well, we in the 30s, Jones Boys made $100 million, and the gangsters found out about this. That's like $1 billion back then. And 1943, the Capone guys ran him out of Chicago to Mexico. And my daddy came to the barbershop and took me and my brother on a Trailway bus the next day to the Northwest to go to Bremerton Shipyard, because we were Joneses too, but not related, And we broke in an army. We wanted to be gangsters, and we were too, man. We burned down dance halls and you name it, everything. Stealing cases of honey at 11, I drank 4 bottles of honey. I never drank honey for 20 years, And so we broke in this army one night, which is our recreation center, and this was during World War II. And the army camp was right across from us with the barbed wire and the 50 caliber machine guns. And we broke in the army. We heard this ice cream and meringue pie was coming in. We knew everything at 11. And after we ate it, we had a pie fight, and then we went around in division and broke into rooms. And I broke into this room and saw a piano and almost closed the door. And thank God I wasn't stupid and went listen to God's whispers and went back in there and touched that piano, and I knew then that's what I'd do the rest of my life. I don't know how I know.
So you were, in other words, you were being mischievous.
Oh, worse than that. No, man.
You were doing something you had no business doing.
My stepbrother was a full-fledged gangster, man.
So you were breaking into places, stealing stuff, and bumped into a piano.
That's right. That's right. That saved my life, though. And from there on, no more sports. I started playing tuba, sousaphone, B-flat baritone, E-flat French horn, trombone, so I could be up next to the girls in the marching band,
Yeah.
That was practical. I wanted to play trumpet, but I was way in the back.
It was too far back. Wasn't no girls playing trumpet.
So the concert band, I played trumpet.
In the marching band, up by the girls.
That's right, man.
That's funny.
The slides,
Aren't we all glad that Q bumped into that piano? More of our tribute to Quincy Delight Jones when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
generous listening.
Charitable listening.
It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SNAP to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
More now of our tribute to Quincy Delight Jones.
There's so much to talk to you about. 30 minutes, and every time you come on, you stay for the whole show, and I still feel like I don't scratch the surface of your life and your legacy. But I'm gonna jump around here to this new book, Q on Producing. A whole lot of folk have been waiting for you to write this particular text, because if there's anybody in this business who you want to emulate when it comes to being successful as a producer, this is the man you want to emulate. So what am I going to learn? What's the reader going to learn about how to be a great producer from Quincy?
What do you want to be a producer for, man? That's the
you know what? You know the short answer is, I learned this from you, because that's where the money is. That's why. Ain't no money like music money, because music money don't stop.
That's true.
I know it's true. So
if it starts.
Yeah, if it ever starts.
If it doesn't start, it will stop.
But if it starts, it'll just keep going and going. That's like an Energizer bunny.
That's right. You're crazy, man.
Now, I'm gonna come back to that concept just to prove that point. I'm gonna come back to this CD in just a second, just to prove Quincy's point. This CD is a tribute. The whole hip-hop industry, as I said earlier, has done a CD basically in tribute to Quincy. But you know whose music they're doing in tribute to Quincy? Quincy's music. So a whole lot of the stuff he's written over the years, they have taken, put their own spin on it. It's still Q's music all these years later. I'll come back to that in a second. But back to the producing thing. So what's the trick to being a great producer?
I don't know. At the time I started, I didn't know. I was an arranger. And like Leslie Gore, I didn't get paid 1 cent in royalties on Leslie Gore, because I didn't know what a producer was. You know, the arrangers were doing mostly what producers do, you know. But they come from engineers or singers or songwriters anywhere, you know. There's no rules there in any of this stuff. But I just stayed in the studio all the time. I was lucky enough to be able to do Big Maybelle, whole lot of shaking going on, and Donnie Washington, who really put me in business, and James Moody, God bless him, who started me off. And, you know, in New York scuffling, man, like Sinatra said, if you make it there, you make it anywhere. But, boy, New York is rough, man. I mean, that's the school you want to come from.
Do you think you became good at this just by staying in the studio, or were you always, Quincy, gifted? This is just a God-given gift.
No, I must say this. You may have a gift, you know, but if you don't, music and mathematics are absolutes. The difference is music is the only thing that engages left and right brain simultaneously. And the intellect and the emotion are there all the time. And so if you don't study your science, you know, your emotion is limited. You know, and I've seen this happen with Aretha, and a lot of people, Marvin Gaye, you can tell the people, Donny Hathaway, Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, that know their jazz roots and know where they come from and really know. And I went on to study with Nadia Boulanger in Paris, who was Stravinsky's mentor, and Aaron Copland and Leonard Bernstein. I said, I want to go all the way. And she was funny because she said, it's too late to try to treat you like a classical musician because she'd been around Ray Charles too long. I was working in clubs at 13, you know. And she says, and jazz musicians are strange because they shack up with music first and then they court it and marry it later. They learn the science. They learn the science. Because without the science, I said, I want to go all the way. So no kind of music scares me. And Ravel, Stravinsky, Alvin Berg, whatever. Duke Ellington, why does he put the Harry Carney over the second tenor sax and all? It was just, I don't know, that orchestration and arranging was just part of my soul all my life.
How hard then, how aggressive are you in pressing that message to all these young folk who adore you and love you, that you have to get outside of your box, outside of your comfort zone and learn it all? Expose yourself to all of it.
Well, we've had a hard time, but now we have to organize it and really put it on an organized basis, which we have now. Madeline Bono and a lot of people like Bill Banfield and David Baker and Herbie Hancock, people are working with us. All the universities, Alan Kay, Sean Fanning, all of these musicians, you know, to put together a curriculum. We're the only country in the world that does not have a minister of culture. The only country, and the most loved music on the planet. Everywhere I go in the world, I hear it.
What do you make of that? You and I have discussed this before. What do you make of the fact that we don't have in this country a minister of culture when everybody else in the world does?
I don't know. I don't know what it's about. I have a clue, but I'll save that for later when we get our curriculum on the street. We've had 4 meetings, and it's almost multiplied every time we have a meeting, a consortium meeting, and it's going there. The real thing of how this music came about, because it's an amazing saga, you know, from Africa, Spanish Inquisition, the Berbers, Moors, and all those influences, the quadrilles, everything, man. It's astounding. I spent 35 years on it.
I'm coming back to the CD now. I said I was going to bounce around here, so forgive me. Quincy just got so much product. but this new CD, So Bossa Nostra, it's, as I said, everybody, I could even do justice to all the names. They're listed on the cover. Everybody is on this thing. Tell me about the project and what it must feel like when everybody in the hip-hop world wants to do a project to celebrate you.
Well, what feels best about it for me is Timbaland started this off 6 years ago, said they wanted to do it in South Beach. But what's good about it is all of these things are for my foundation. It's every one of them, the earphones and everything is just for my foundation, because that's what my passion is about, is my babies.
Yeah.
And you know I've got some babies.
Yeah, I know you got a few.
All over the world. I don't mean mine, man.
Yeah,
I got some too. But,
You mentioned the headphones. I said you got so much product. So when you buy a set of headphones that Quincy Jones has put his name on, what am I hearing with your stuff that I'm not hearing someplace else?
You're feeling the best. You're hearing the best sound you ever heard in your life. I've been involved with him almost 40 years, because it's AKG, who was, you know, had JBL speakers in my studio ever since I've been almost recording, and so it was a very natural alliance, really. You know, and it's all the stuff's the best, like the Audemars PJ watches too, you know. So it's been I don't know how all 4 of them hit together, because they're wearing me out now.
I told you got too much product, man. I see up on the screen right now, so I'm just glancing at this monitor in front of me, so I see a promotion here for a primetime special that I'm doing in December 29th, with a guy who I have been following for the last few weeks to prepare for this 1 hour special. And here we are in conversation talking about classical music and his growing up in Venezuela. And up into this conversation pops the name Quincy Jones.
Gustavo Dudamel.
You know it, Gustavo Dudamel.
That's right.
I can't talk to nobody without your name coming into the conversation.
That little brother's something else.
But he's an amazing guy.
He's 28 years old.
The conductor of the
and he could be a movie star.
Yeah.
And he could be a dancer, man. He does everything.
Yeah.
And the most biggest heart, and humility. He has what you're supposed to have. Humility with his talent and grace with his success. He's incredible.
Yeah. See, I raise that only because, to make my point, that everybody I talk to around the world has met you, has worked with you, has done something with you. How is it that you end up connecting with these people before the rest of us hear about him? How do you know Gustavo Dudamel before he becomes the rage as the conductor of the LA Phil?
El Sistemo.
The program, yeah.
That's a big program. He's saved 300,000 kids from gangs with knife cuts and bullet wounds and everything else, and had them playing clarinets and violins and everything. And his mentor, Dr.
Obreo.
Jose Obreo.
Yeah.
Was the one that really started the system El Sistemo, and it's spreading all over the world, But this man is frightening. That's the next Leonard Bernstein.
Gustavo Dudamel.
And we have a pianist from Cuba now that we have. He's 24 years old, who's one of the best piano players I've ever heard in my life. I met him when he was 20 in Switzerland, and he's writing a piece for Gustavo now. Gustavo is the monster.
Speaking of Switzerland, you and I were there together.
He's on the show on the 29th?
Who? Gustavo?
Gustavo.
It's all about him.
Oh,
it's all about, it's aired on PBS. It's all about Gustavo. It's about him, but it's about this program, El Sistema, that you referenced earlier. And the question that we wrestle with in this special is, what is the price that our country pays for abandoning music education for kids? Because he comes out of a program, as you mentioned, that gives him to the world. But what's the price our country is paying, America, for abandoning music education for kids?
Number one, being labeled as isolationists. I travel more than anybody on the planet. I don't care who they are.
That's true.
I'm sorry. If I can keep up with you.
No, please. I'm trying to follow you.
You know what I'm saying, man. You've got to go to know. And I was lucky enough to go at 19 years old with Lionel Hampton playing trumpet. And Ben Webster, this great jazz saxophonist, said, "Young blood, step into my office. Let me pull your coat." That was, a lot of the hip-hop slang is bebop slang. That was, let me step over here. I want to give you some knowledge. Everywhere you go in the world with Gates, who's Lionel Hampton, you should eat the food the real people eat, listen to music they listen to, and speak 30 to 40 words in every language. And I listened that's when I was young, I realized why you got two ears and one mouth. You're supposed to talk half as much as you listen, and listen twice as much.
So wherever you go, eat their food, listen to their music, and learn a few words of their language. And that makes you a citizen of the world.
That's right, and you enter their culture, not dragging your culture with you. And I feel at home everywhere in the world, and it's a great feeling, man, everywhere.
I mentioned Switzerland because you mentioned it first. When we were in Switzerland, I guess a couple of years ago, where you were being honored at the Montreux Jazz Festival, I was there with you, and this group, Naturally 7, performed a tribute to you. Next thing I know, you got them signed up and working with them. They're amazing.
They're fantastic.
We've had them on this show, these a cappella guys.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're into mime. They imitate orchestras. Everything on that record is them. There's no instruments on it. It's all a cappella. They're incredible, man. And I think that they're the new wave of hip hop,
Yeah.
And they sing. They've got some Take 6 going there.
Yeah. You and I have talked, of course, a number of times since then, but this is the first time you've been back on this program since Michael passed away, just over a year ago now.
Yeah. That's right, June.
Yeah, it's the first time you've been back on the show since he passed. You still think about him, I assume?
How can you forget him?
Yeah.
He's in my soul. He is. The relationship with an artist and a producer, man, is stronger than anything you can imagine. Because it starts with love, and then there's trust, tremendous trust, because all you care about is that they are presented in the best possible way they can. That's all a producer should care about. Everything, the cover, the album cover, everything. The right musicians, the right tempos, everything. Babysitter, psychologist, everything. You have to know whether you can push them for 3 more takes or it's time to take a break and go shoot some pool or something, you know. Yeah. And it's a very complex thing, which you have to get into it to know what to do, really, because it's very personal, and there's no formula that can happen on everybody. It doesn't work like that. Everybody, you have to know that they need another 4th range at the top, another 4th at the bottom, which I've felt before we did Thriller, you know, because there were some things we wanted to try that he hadn't tried before, you know. Yeah. And it's a process like anything else, Tavis, you know.
When the
you
movie...
pay attention, and you pay attention more than anybody I know.
I try to pay attention.
To everything.
When the movie is done about your life and your legacy, how do you know what the pinnacle is? Is it Michael? Is it Frank Sinatra? Is it Dizzy? Is it you've done everything with everybody twice at least? How do you contextualize?
No, there's no pinnacle. It's infinity.
Yeah.
It is infinity. It's too different, you know, from Aretha, Ray Charles, or Sinatra, or Ella. I worked with Billie Holiday when I was 14. Sarah, Basie, Duke. You know, there's no pinnacle.
Yeah. Just infinity.
Each one, and I was lucky enough that to work with, I would say, the most influential people in the history of the last 50 years of American music, though.
That's an understatement.
And that's something, I don't know how it happened, because you cannot plan that. You cannot make that happen. There's no agent or nothing else that can make that happen. You have to just do what you know how to do and hope that somebody says, do it with me, you know. And it's like with Frank. We worked with him in 1958 when I was in Paris. And I came in the studio, I was a musical director for Barclay Records, and somebody said, Grace Kelly's office just called. Mr. Sinatra wants him to bring his whole house band, 55 musicians, and a vocal group down by train to Monaco to a sporting club for a fundraiser for Sinatra. I didn't know him, you know. That's like a dream for an arranger. And we went down. I'd never heard from him for 4 years. And then he get a call from Hawaii one day. The first guy that called me, Q. I heard that arrangement you did for Count Basie on Bart Howard's, in other words, da, 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 da. It was a waltz, you know. Da, 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 da. But he said, I like the one you did, and dip, boo-doo, bo, 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 ba, and 4/4. Would you consider doing an album with me and Basie? I said, man, is the Pope a Catholic?
Is the Pope a Catholic?
Are you kidding? You better believe it. And I worked with him from '64 till he left. You know, his daughter Tina gave me this ring. This is a ring he wore. This is the family crest.
Sinatra's ring, yeah. It's
in Sicily, I don't even need a passport.
Just show him Sinatra's ring, and you get all the respect you want. And you still ain't done. That's the thing that cracks me up.
No.
You're gonna live to be 100 and what?
10.
110.
The Nobel doctor said if I lose this belly, and it was about 33 pounds, and do what they say, they'll keep me here till 110, because we have nanotechnology coming in, and color-coded genome breakthrough from Caltech. So you know, these are guys that are building our future, MIT and Alan Kay and these guys and Nobel doctors. So I'm fortunate enough to be around them all the time, and so I know Keith Black. I know what's coming.
Yeah.
You know, and man, it is going to blow your mind. It's happening already, really.
Everything you do blows my mind. What you told me years ago, Tavis, and he's the epitome of it. Live every day like it's your last, because...
And one day you'll be right.
And that's what he does.
Sinatra
told him. He told me I love it. So Q's got, again, you got new headphones out that sound like nobody's business. The new CD. Soul Bossa Nostra, everybody celebrating. Who knew when you did this when you wrote this lick years ago, who knew that Austin Powers was going to bring this back?
That's right, man. 20 minutes, man. 20 minutes.
And it's back.
It won't go away.
Oh, I love Q. He didn't quite make 110, but at 91, he lived a long and rich life. We were all the better for it, particularly considering that he had a couple brain aneurysms. That's a long life. And again, we are so much richer because of Quincy Delight Jones. Our tribute continues when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, back backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Our Election Day coverage continues. Vice President Harris appears to have fallen short in her bid to become the first woman and woman of color elected president. Campaign co-chair Cedric Richmond informed supporters at Harris's election night event at Howard University that she will address the crowd today.
We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the vice president tonight.
Her remarks are expected to be delivered at Howard University, her HBCU and alma mater. New York City officials are trying to reassure migrants they will not be deported now that Donald Trump is president-elect. Black Mayor Eric Adams says New York City remains a sanctuary city and he intends to continue protecting immigrant communities. NBC News projects Donald Trump will win Michigan. And Hurricane Rafael has now been upgraded to a Category 3 storm. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Shop early, save big all month long during Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Right now, shop top tools from DeWalt, Craftsman, and Cobalt, now $99. Because Lowe's knows deals. Discount taken at time of purchase while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Paul George is back in town. The former Clippers star will be in the lineup tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers. The Clippers and Sixers are meeting up tonight at the Intuit Dome. George signed with the Sixers as a free agent in the summer after playing 5 years with the Clippers. The Clippers won't have to worry about Sixers center Joel Embiid. The NBA suspended Embiid for 3 games for shoving a columnist Saturday in the Sixers locker room. Embiid was upset with Marcus Hayes of the Philadelphia Inquirer for a column he wrote about Embiid. The suspension will cost Embiid $1.63 million. The Lakers are at Memphis tonight. Final game of a 5-game road trip. The Lakers are 1-3 on the trip. Dodger star Shohei Ohtani underwent surgery Tuesday to repair a torn labrum muscle in his left shoulder. Ohtani hurt his shoulder sliding into second base in Game 2 of the World Series. The Dodgers said Ohtani will be ready for spring training. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, though.
Girl, I have a secret. When I get stressed out, I get sweaty. That's why I use Secret Clinical Antiperspirant. It's like my own secret weapon. For 72 hours, I get Secret's strongest protection against sweat caused by stress, heat, and activity, because you know how crazy life can get. Plus, it's made with advanced odor fighters that don't just cover up smelliness. They help prevent it from happening in the first place. Believe me, if I weren't wearing Secret, I'd be a hot, smelly mess. Thankfully, Secret works.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Going down in the rinse change. Every now and then I rinse it out. wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh fights odor in just one wash, guaranteed.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Patty Austin, Saida Garrett, names we all know. Here they are now talking about what it was like working in studio with Q.
Say the words like you understand, but the power's in believing, so give yourself a chance, 'cause you can climb the highest mountain, swim the deepest sea, all you need is the will to want it and a little self-esteem, so keep the faith.
You can imagine that's a track I love, especially because for all the years of my now 30-year broadcast career, I've closed all of my shows with that same refrain, keep the faith, and love that track. Saida Garrett, tell me about that one right quick.
That was amazing because it was the first time that Glenn and I were able to write a song with Michael. Michael wrote the bridge on this song. And I'm so proud of the life that this song has taken on because it is prominently featured on Broadway in MJ the Musical. And I'm just so proud. So proud.
Yeah. It's
I want to say when I was in the studio with Quincy, I never experienced him leaving the room. But if he wasn't in a big room, he was definitely in the control room. And he was giving directions over the speaker or whatever. But I just wanted to inject that little comment.
Yeah. Patty, we're gonna get some of this in just a second here. We can't do an hour without doing some of this because I miss him so, and I know you miss him. He was your friend and brother for many years. But I'm curious as to what it was like being in studio specifically with Q when you and James Ingram were doing all of those beautiful ballads together.
Yeah.
I don't have, to be totally honest, I don't have very vivid memory of Baby Come to Me. Mm-hmm. But I have a very, very vivid memory of How Do You Keep the Music Playing that didn't
Lord
involve
Jesus.
Quincy.
Yeah. Tell me.
Well, but Quincy is not in the story because originally the song was written for me to sing about 8 bars of it in the middle of a film called Best Friend for a passing scene that Goldie Hawn was in where she's looking very despondent and she's on a people mover in the airport, people walker, and she goes by across the screen and you hear the bridge. I know the way I feel for you is now or never. That was it. And Alan and Marilyn Bergman, who wrote the lyrics, were there. Michel Legrand wrote the music. David Page was there. And that was the crew in the studio, and I sang my little thing, and everybody, Marilyn started it, and as usual, and said, you know what? We need to do the whole song, and it needs to be a duet because James and Patty just came off of How Do You Keep the Music Play, not off of Baby Come to Me.
Baby Come to Me, yeah.
And this is a perfect segue for them to do as another single. Let's call. So they get on the phone and they find out that James is in Japan, but he was literally finishing his gig in Japan that night. So long story short, they rushed him in the next day. He got off the plane from Tokyo. He was exhausted. I could see he was exhausted. And I grabbed him and took him into the booth and sat him on the floor. And I sat next to him on the floor and said, bring the mic. And we did the song down the first time. And we finished, and we both looked away from each other. When we finished singing, we were both looking in the opposite direction. And we looked at each other at the same time. We were both crying.
Mm.
And we did it one more time. Oh, we did it one more time, and that was it.
So when we hear, you guys only did 2 takes on that?
Uh-huh.
Jesus.
Yeah, but these are 2-take people. You got two take people on the phone with you already. See what I'm saying?
No, I get
This
it.
is what I'm trying to say to you, Tavis.
I get it.
And it spoils you for all others. It spoils you for the rest. It turns you into a twit because you get to a situation where you're working with regular folk and you're looking at them like, where's the magic?
Yeah.
Where is it? And it's a horrible place to be in all the time with perfection.
Yeah.
Oh, Patty, what's it like being you, Patty?
She is.
I don't know anymore.
I've told Patty so many times. I've told Patty so many times, and I've said it about her more times than I've told her, that as talented, as brilliant, she's an artistic genius. I still think she missed her calling. She belongs on the stage, but not singing necessarily, but as a comedian. Patty kills me. Man, she kills me. All right, I said I wanted to talk about this. Let's talk about it now. You first, Saida, and then Patty. And I can share my own stories if I had the time. But the thing that of all the things I love about Quincy, and I love so many things about him, but I have never met anybody who is more ubiquitous. My view is this. My view is this: that the greatest Renaissance man that Black America has ever given this country, without debate, is Paul Robeson. The ultimate, the quintessential Renaissance man is Paul Robeson. Yeah. But if I had to put a 1.1, it'd be Paul Robeson and then Quincy Jones. Because Quincy has done, I say to him all the time, Q, you've done everything with everybody at least twice. Yeah. I mean, all around the world. And both of you know this. You've done it far more than I have. I've been with Q a number of places around the world, and anywhere you go in the world, Quincy is treated as royalty. I mean, anywhere you go in the world with this guy. Please. So, Saida, you first. What do you make of his ubiquity? He's done everything.
Yeah, he's 90, and he's been relevant in the music business for 80 of his 90 years.
It's crazy.
Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. I don't know anyone else like him. There is none like him. I'm really proud and privileged to be in his orbit, to call myself a friend of his. And I remember I called him a few days after his 90th birthday. We were at a very private event at his home, his birthday dinner, with close friends and family, like Harry Hancock and Greg Gaines, and it was just awesome. So after that celebration, I called him a few days later after his 90th birthday, and I said, Q, how you feeling? He said, 90. And that was it. I couldn't say nothing else after that.
More of our tribute to Quincy Delight Jones when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Add confidence to every holiday adventure and get it done with a rugged and capable Chevy truck or SUV. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Silverado, Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 22.2%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 12/2/24.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I was so excited when I heard this sandwich was back. What's up? This is Mike.
And this is Celia.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich
is the symphony of flavors. You can always count on that crispy, tender, juicy chicken. It's so good.
My favorite part is the pimento cheese. Topped off with the honey, it all comes together perfectly. I like the original.
I like the spicy chicken fillet. But either way,
you're getting a winner.
The Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back with a bite. Try it with the original or spicy filet now for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
You just heard Saida Garrett reference Greg Fillinganes, who played keys on more Q projects than I can count. I asked Greg what it meant for him to work with the genius of Quincy Jones. So let me just ask you a broad question here. And I've had the honor of being in you guys' presence a number of times. And, of course, I know you and consider Q a dear friend of mine as well. But just Q's now 90-plus years old. Just talk to me for a moment here about what it has been like all these years to be in his friend circle and to be on so many projects produced by Quincy Jones.
We don't even have the time to go into the depth of love and respect I have for this man. Yeah. I mean, what he's done for my career and how we were inextricably tied to each other's lives is just nothing short of a blessing from God. Because I met him twice. Mm-hmm. Right. The first time I met him was in Detroit. I was still in high school. And he was in town for a signing of his new album at the time, which was You Got a Bad Girl, the You Got a Bad Girl. I mean, that was when he was in the sexy era. You know, he had the fold-out album. And he was standing there looking all,
GQ.
All player in the black leather outfit,
Yeah.
And, the women just lost their minds. But he was in Detroit at a department store for a signing of that record, and I left school early and went down to meet him. And
you were playing already?
I was in bands. I was in bands, and I was getting fairly popular in Detroit at that time. Right. But I went down to meet him, and he could not have been more gracious and kind. And the amazing thing is that he still remembers that to this day. He still remembers meeting me in Detroit to this day.
But how surreal is it then to have met him while you were in high school?
Yeah.
And years later.
Yeah. Yeah, it was incredibly surreal because this was after I joined Stevie's band. And we're skipping around because there's a lot of stories.
Sure.
But this was after I joined Stevie's band, and I came to L.A. in 75 when you were like 15, I think. Right? But anyway, I came here in 75, and in 76, I believe, it was my second and more formal meeting with Quincy. And shortly after that, he invited me to play on a session. So I roll up to A&M Studios to play on a session that he is co-producing with Herb Alpert for this little artist named Billy Eckstein. And it was a single called The Best Thing.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I did for Quincy.
Billy E.
A Billy E. single.
Man.
It was bananas.
So we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. Oh, there's a choice for making. We're saving our lives.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
King C. Gillette knows you're dedicated to your barbershop routine. But what about after? What's your routine for facial hair to avoid dry skin, itching, and beard rough? Well, the King C. Gillette Beard Oil is a perfect fit for making your beard feel as good as it looks. It softens your facial hair and moisturizes to help prevent itch due to dry skin. Get facial hair that feels as good as it looks. Just trim, wash, and soften. With King C. Gillette.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. The Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
Quincy Delight Jones is gone. That is his reality. It is our burden to bear. Put simply, Q was one of my favorite people ever. So many memories, so little time. I just hope to live the rest of my life honoring his life and his legacy by doing exactly what he told me that you heard us talk about earlier in this 1-hour tribute to Quincy. To live each day like it is your last, because one day it will be. That's what Quincy did. That's what I will do. That's what you should do to honor him. Live every day like it's your last, because one day it will be. Quincy Delight Jones, we love you.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Our Election Day coverage continues. Vice President Harris appears to have fallen short in her bid to become the first woman and woman of color elected president. Campaign co-chair Cedric Richmond informed supporters at Harris's election night event at Howard University that she will address the crowd today.
We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the vice president tonight.
Her remarks are expected to be delivered at Howard University, her HBCU and alma mater. New York City officials are trying to reassure migrants they will not be deported now that Donald Trump is president-elect. Black Mayor Eric Adams says New York City remains a sanctuary city and he intends to continue protecting immigrant communities. NBC News projects Donald Trump will win Michigan. And Hurricane Rafael has now been upgraded to a Category 3 storm. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Lowe's knows you want to get more value for the holiday. That's why, as a My Lowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals every week on everyday essentials, tools, and more. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details, subject to change.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Paul George is back in town. The former Clip